Hello and welcome back to my channel. My name is Merle Jackson, pastry chef and owner of It Started With a Cupcake, a bakery located in New Jersey, the great grand state of New Jersey. In this video, I'm going to share with you my top 10 mistakes I made when I first started my bakery business. Although most of my examples are from my experience in starting a business in the food industry, I guarantee there will be relevant information for any creative entrepreneur that's just starting out. My hope is that by sharing some of these mistakes and helpful tips on how to avoid them, I can save you from some of the struggles I went through. I started this bakery in 2017 and we eventually opened our actual retail store in 2018. The entrepreneur journey is a roller coaster of ups and downs, so let's tackle some of the pitfalls. The first mistake I did was not creating systems to help run my business more efficiently. At the beginning stages of your business, you're going to be wearing all the hats. If you don't have a system in place, you will not be able to get out from under the mountain of day-to-day tasks, minutia that is going to consume up most of your day. This is probably the number one contributor to burnout. From my cake recipes to my email reply system, it was a hot mess. I was wasting so much time and energy repeating tasks that could have been made into a simple system that anybody else could follow. You want to have clear guidelines for speed and efficiency. This also helps you become a better leader. How can you delegate tasks to your team if you don't really have a system for them to follow to get the exact results that you got? You need to be able to guide them and also to be able to measure their progress, and this will save you a lot of time in the long run. So my advice is just take the time to set up a system for every task that you have, as many tasks as you can that you can eventually delegate to somebody else. Ooh, this is a big one. Not celebrating the small wins. The bigger picture is there is no overnight success. All the little wins add up. Every little victory counts. I didn't really stop to celebrate the small wins or the small milestones along the way. The first sale, the first big wedding cake, the launch of my YouTube channel, the first appearance in a magazine, my first successful styled shoot. My advice is don't get so caught up in the day-to-day crap that you forget to enjoy the little things along the way. I mean, if you don't enjoy the journey, you'll start to resent it. I mean, not to sound too after school specially, but is that a word? Specially? In the words of Miley Cyrus, it's about the climb, guys. It's about the climb. If you don't enjoy these little moments of milestones and you're just like on to the next, you're missing the point, and frankly, you're missing your life. Even if you fail, I guarantee the journey of entrepreneurship is worth it. It's invaluable. You will learn and you will grow. And honestly, that's really the point. So you just gotta take the time to really just see the bigger picture and understand that the little moments that got you there are worth celebrating, if only just for morale or motivation. Number 3, working in my business as opposed to on my business. There's a clear distinction here. I was baking and making the cakes. Instead of being the visionary of my business, I was a technician. Don't do this. There's actually a great book that I read called The E-Myth. I'll link that in the description below. Totally worth reading if you're trying to start your own business. It talks about this in more detail. You set out to create your own company or business, and really you just created a job for yourself. You will grow to hate the thing you love. So my advice, delegate and get the hell out of there. Trust me, in this industry especially, working yourself into the ground is like this sort of like badge of honor. Anthony Bourdain said it best. It takes a certain kind of lunatic to crave that kind of life. Day after day of mind-numbing repetition. For years, I glorified pulling all-nighters and staying at the bakery until the wee hours of the morning, working hard, mopping up the floors. My mentality was hustle, hustle, hustle and grind, whatever it takes. Now my school of thought is work smarter, not harder. Make a list, of all the tasks that need to be done in your business, and then write a check mark next to the items that only you... My school of thought now is work smarter, not harder. Make a list of all the tasks that need to be done in your business. Then write a check mark next to the ones that only you can do. Or maybe that you like to do, whichever. But be reasonable. Double check it and be honest with yourself. I know it's your baby, but you have to let go. You have to delegate. Find a way to systemize as many parts as your daily business as you can. And then build a team that can do it better than you. Better than you. That's the key point. You can't be the leader that they need unless you give yourself the time and the space that you need to be the visionary and the brains behind the operation. Which brings me to my next one. Not having a clear vision for your business in the first place. I think most of us creatives approach business from like this sort of like spirit of, I love food and I love to create things. Yes, I love to bake and I love to make cakes and I love to create things as well, but I had it in my head to start a food business. And you know, I started at farmers market selling cupcakes and macarons, but when I actually ended up getting my bakery storefront, I had no clear vision of what the hell I was doing. I had no idea what I wanted the business to be. I was all over the place. Casual bakery cafe, wedding cakes, but also I like making celebration cakes, and you know, we have cupcake in the name, so we gotta have killer cupcakes. And it just became this whole thing where we had no clear menu or brand vision. You want to make sure you know what your niche is. You have to also make sure that your life makes sense with the business model that you've created. You have to know where you are and where you want to go. If not, you're going to waste a lot of time and money and energy speaking to everyone and ultimately speaking to no one. Nail down a clear picture of what your business is specializing in. Work hard to be the best you can. And if need be, pivot, but pivot, you'll be able to pivot in a way that makes sense if you kind of have a clear vision of what the hell it is that you're doing to begin with. Ooh, the next one is not having a clear brand and marketing strategy. This kind of goes hand in hand with what I was just saying. You know, hope is not a strategy. Nope. You know, I thought if you build it, you make good stuff, and you really try to make good cupcakes and cakes, they will come. Post a bit on Instagram. Nope. Nope. You have to really sit down and craft a brand. What does that even really mean? You have to make a customer avatar. You have to really understand your market. Why it is that you do what you do, who you're trying to speak to, who you're trying to sell, who you're trying to attract to your business. Inevitably, what will happen if you don't do this is you'll start doing, you know, market research by looking at what everybody else is doing, and then inevitably you just start mimicking what others are doing or what you think is working for other people. Soon enough, you'll find yourself an amalgamation of all these brands, and they don't really reflect your unique style or your specific mission that you have for your business. So my advice, if I had to go back in time, I would definitely dedicate a large amount of my budget and a large amount of my time to developing a marketing plan and a clear brand for my business. You want to develop a strategy and test it to see what works best for you. You want to keep learning, you want to keep pivoting as you go. Because as you know, marketing strategies are always evolving and you have to keep tweaking and build consistency. The next mistake I made was putting myself second. Yeah. Anyway, building my business around my life as opposed to my life around my business. Building my business around my life instead of my life around my business. It was right the first time. Building my business around my life as opposed to building my life around my business. This is maybe my second biggest regret. Like I said, I thought running myself into the ground was the way to go. I did what I had to do, or what I thought I had to do, and the bakery slowly took over my life. If I had taken the time to sit down and really ask myself, what do you want your life to look like? What type of business can you run that makes sense with the type of lifestyle that you want to lead? For example, let's say you want a little bit more flexibility and your schedule, with your schedule. Let's just say you want a little bit more flexibility with your schedule, or you don't enjoy waking up super early. Be honest with yourself and craft a business that works for you. I mean, inevitably you do have to make some sacrifices for your business to work, but within reason. I mean, you have to give yourself space to design a business that you love, because if not, what the hell's the point, you know? Keep in mind that this will evolve over time. Some things that maybe were a priority to you when you first started might change, but you have to start with some kind of a roadmap so that you don't end up crying on the floor in the fetal position at 4 a.m. having an existential crisis. Not that I know from experience or anything. The next big mistake I made was not having a clear pricing system. This is so prominent in the creative industry and is so prevalent in the cake world. Why it sucks? First off, you're selling yourself short. I mean, this is your life we're talking about. This is your time. You can never get your time back. This is the most valuable thing that you have. So these cakes take hours, days, weeks. You have to charge for your time. If you don't understand how to price your cake to make a profit, then you're never gonna scale your business. You will eventually fall out of love with this industry. Take your time to develop a pricing guide. It's worth the investment because it'll just keep biting you in the ass. I don't know what else to say. Biting you in the ass. Nice. Nice. Classy. Okay. Spending money on unnecessary things at the beginning of your business. At the beginning when you're starting your business. When you love to make things and you start to build a business around it, it's easy to get carried away buying all the things. You see all these cookie cutters, you see all these silicone molds, you see the sprinkles, the fancy packaging. Listen, as a creative, I know it's tempting to get all the gadgets. You don't want to waste a lot of your money on things that you're only going to use once, or they're not really going to give you a lot of ROI, basically. So before wasting money on all these gadgets, ask yourself, do I really need this tool? Is it really essential for me to get this done? And am I going to be able to use it on other things, or is it just kind of like a one-shot deal? Try to find a workaround if you can, because, you know, is it worth buying for that one project? Is there another way that you could get it done, or possibly reuse some other gadget or tool or mold that you already have? This is going back to the vision section in a way. If you know your niche and your brand, you're less likely to buy so many things because you know that you only need a select few essential tools to kind of get most of the things done. So try to buy just the essentials so you don't get stuck with a bunch of stuff that you don't really need. And it's just going to be taking up space in your business, and it's going to be, you know, something that's just there. Sis, you don't need them sprinkles. You don't. I'm almost sure. I can almost guarantee you that you don't need them sprinkles. You could do it without it. You ain't got it. Don't do it. Don't do it. Put the sprinkles back. Put the sprinkles back. You don't need the limited edition Aladdin's face cookie cutter. You don't need it. I'm almost certain. No offense to the people who are selling these items, because we all love them, but my point is you gotta save your money for what's important when you're trying to start this business and make a profit. Oh, here's a big one, which is actually kind of being addressed by this video. Not showing up as the face of my brand. Posting Instagram food pics and never really showing up as the face of your brand is going to hurt you in the long run. This is a mistake because people want to see you and they want to be able to connect with your brand. And the quickest way and the most effective way is for them to be able to connect with you as a person. They can't do that unless you show up and engage with your audience. So definitely create a marketing strategy that involves you in some kind of way, connecting with your audience by either showing up in whichever format or platform that you'd like. Podcasts, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, but make sure that you let go of all that. I need makeup and perfect hair. It ain't that serious. They don't care. They just want to connect with you as a person. And honestly, in my experience, people maybe like it when you're a little bit more real and you're not all fucking perfect all the time. It's fine. The point is to show up and to make sure that you are connected with your audience. And lastly, holding on to fear of change. Like many of us, the pandemic forced us to sort of stop and, take account of our lives. And, I knew for a long time that I wasn't happy with the trajectory of where the business was going. And I just wasn't happy with the life that I had created for myself. And instead of making the tough decision to pivot and completely rethink how I was running the business, I got caught up in the analysis paralysis of it all. So I just kept going. I thought, if I stop, everything is just gonna fall apart. Guess what? It didn't. If you need a couple of days to just stop and reflect and just to make those tough decisions and rethink how you're running your business, do it. Because not pivoting when it's needed and avoiding the issue is not gonna make it go away. Don't be afraid to make the wrong decision. You have to make the best choice with the information that you have available to you. That's all you can really do. You will never know all the different variables and all the different outcomes that could possibly be. Some you win, some you lose. But your peace of mind is the most important thing. It's more important than any business. You are not your business. You can keep reinventing yourself until you find your happiness. I hope you guys got a lot out of that video. If you really liked any of the content, please give me that like and think about subscribing to my channel. I will be posting videos here every week about running the bakery, just different creative entrepreneur tips and recipes and tutorials. So if you like that, then definitely subscribe. See you next time. It's like the third time I've shot this video. If that's not it, then